Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastuma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In deep sleep, we are consciousness, but not conscious of anything. In deep sleep, we are consciousness, but not conscious of anything. So in meditation, we are conscious and also conscious of our own consciousness, conscious about ourselves. True. There's a difference. Otherwise, situation remaining the same, and there is blanket of ignorance in deep sleep, where there is the light of knowledge. So, I am conscious that I am consciousness. Not conscious of consciousness, but I am conscious that I am consciousness. What is meant by Naishthika Brahmachari? God is also mentioned as a deity in Sabarimala, having constitutional rights. Please clarify. Well, I do not know if the interpretation is God has constitutional rights. But the deity in Sabarimala is said to be Naishthika Brahmachari. And according to the scriptures which they follow, a Naishthika Brahmachari avoids some 64 kinds of things. One of which is looking at women from the age 15 to 55 or whatever. So this is what is said as one of the vows of the Naishthika Brahmachari, which Lord Ayyappa is in Sabarimala. A little far is another Sabarimala, another Ayyappa where he is married also. So, but this is the shrine of Lord Ayyappa where he is Naishthika Brahmachari. And therefore they have been following this tradition. How a Naishthika Brahmachari should not be looking at a woman in the age group 15 to 55. Otherwise, so that is why women of this age group do not go there. Otherwise, his Brahmacharya gets affected or whatever it is. So this is the kind of explanation given as to why there is a tradition as to women of menstruating age do not go there. Now then it's a matter of research as to when this is started, was it always so, and what is what, and what are those rules of Naishthika Brahmachari, does it mean this, and all kinds of debates are going on. But I don't know what's the purpose of the question here. What is the purpose of the question here?
I just wanted to find out what is meant by the Naishthika Brahmachari.
What is meant by Naishthika Brahmachari is one who abides in the vow of Brahmacharya or celibacy. But Brahmachari also means Brahmani Charati. So one who is dedicated to the study of the Vedas. So Brahmachari is typically an individual who lives with the Guru. For studying the Brahma means Veda there. Along with that, the condition for studying with the Guru is that we must be a celibate also. So, brahmacharya also is a life of student, where he lives a life of celibacy. So, brahmacharya has two aspects. One is celibacy, other is the study of Veda, which also involves serving the teacher, living with the teacher and serving the teacher and studying. Now this is upakurvana. Normally the brahmacharis who go, they complete their graduations and return home to enter the life of a householder. There may be someone who chooses to continue to stay with the teacher for the rest of her life. He is called Naishtika Brahmachari, who follows the vows of brahmacharya and who spends his life serving the teacher, studying and meditating. So that is what Naishtika Brahmacharya is. And so Lord Ayyappa in Sabrimala is a Naishtika Brahmachari, then he also follows the vows of brahmacharya. And what those vows are all seems to be described in certain scriptures. So many vows are there which he follows. But Naishtika Brahmacharya means that abidance in the life of a brahmachari. Brahmachari means living with the teacher, serving the teacher and studying the scriptures. So one who has dedicated one's life to this is called Naishtika Brahmachari, as opposed to an Upakurvanaka Brahmachari who lives with the teacher for a period of time. When the study is complete, he returns home. So he is not called Naishtika, he is also Brahmachari during that period of time. But here this is a lifelong Brahmachari, Naishtika Brahmachari. And very interesting information here. A link between sentient and insentient objects. Some viruses function as living as well as non-living entities. Tobacco mosaic virus is one studied in detail. In vitro or in a lab, this virus is a chemical molecule dissolved in a solvent, recrystallized again, and shows its chemical property. Once it enters a living body, a cell of an animal or a plant, its intelligence makes structural changes and starts interacting with living cells and also multiplication of itself, expanding its own population. So what it is a chemical molecule. But chemical molecule seems to function as a living organism under special conditions, which is that chemical molecule has potential of life in there, which becomes manifest under certain conditions. That's what we have to say. We cannot say that life is created, but life is potentially there and becomes manifest when he is given the right kind of conditions, I guess. Because if it is lifeless as a chemical molecule, and then when it is injected or when it comes in contact with an animal, a cell of an animal or a plant, its intelligence makes structural changes that it becomes a living organism. Now that is something difficult to understand, that what was lifeless has intelligence to make structural change in itself, to become a living organism. Now this, who has written this?
Actually, we like the mic. Swami. Hello. This is again right now it is a subject of research, but the intelligence or whatever we perceive as intelligence in that molecule is some inherent property which interacts with the life force of the living cell. And now how it interacts with the life force available in the living cell is really a miracle.
Mystery.
One research was done long back. From a living cell, the cell center was removed, center as a life. Considering that this center can propagate life further, and that center was put in some nutrition media, but that center could not function. Then the cell fluid was given some identical chemical which was resembling the center. That artificial center was put in the natural cell fluid. It did not function. That means if God has made one bacteria even or amoeba or whatever small cell, it is complete in its own structure. If you take a half part, it will not function. But this tobacco mosaic virus and some other viruses are such that chemically you can treat them, you can dissolve, you can recrystallize. It is on a better dish you can see the crystals. The crystal structure is also seen by NMR and other spectroscopic instruments. In no way anybody can judge that there is intelligence, but as soon as it enters the living cell, maybe it is affecting the tobacco plant. In tobacco it brings some disease. So as soon as it enters there, suddenly it removes some of its own calcium. There are some calcium molecules surrounding. It is automatically imbalancing the calcium balance and starts penetrating the cell of tobacco. So this is a wonderful phenomenon, but because we are discussing the point of sentient and insentient things, I thought this is a thing which may lead the science also to understand how life might have propagated in earlier days, or whatever it may be, but it is an interesting thing from our point of view also.
No, they want to create life. Basically what scientists want to do is create life. So is life in this particular tobacco mosaic virus, is life created or the life which was potential becomes manifest?
This particular virus was invented some 30-40 years back, and it took very long time to understand that this is actually a virus. When it was separated, it was thought like chemical only. So a lot of research has been done, but still there are so many mysteries around that. So
Right.
we can take it as a miracle only right now.
Yeah, okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. This is another one you written, I think.
It is an RNA virus.
Hmm?
Sorry, it is a DNA virus with a protein around that. That's all.
Say that DNA virus. What is DNA virus?
I mean, it is actually a virus, but having a structure, which is okay. Structure.
Because we have to hear what you are talking anyway.
It is a virus having the chemical structure, that is arrangement of carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, etc. in such a way that the structure is similar to our DNA. DNA in the living. So structurally it is very, very near. This virus structure is very, very near to DNA structure.
Which is where the life is. And who has written this? This also you written. Here is a proof of consciousness in the insentient objects. Somebody else has written. Looks like your handwriting anyway. Here is a proof of consciousness is insentient objects. Jada. Insentient, lifeless. Understand? When you mean insentient, that means lifeless. Sentient means living. Now something can appear to be immobile, but could have life. What we call solid objects are very large space within their molecules and atoms. Suppose we enlarge one hydrogen atom so much that its nucleus is as large as a football. Assume that we keep it on your table. Its electron will be of the size of a peanut and will have to be placed at Lakshmana Zura. So this much space in an object perceived as a solid. This space is consciousness according to Vedanta. No. Space is not consciousness. Space is pervaded by consciousness. Space is not consciousness. What so we have done tonight? Any questions? Yeah. You have to come forward.
Swamiji, I don't remember in which Upanishad there is an example in which there is a scene with a dancer, a light, a master, and the public. And it was difficult to me in the moment to understand which part corresponds for each part of the living. Could you please explain?
Right. So he's talking about a chapter from Panchadashi, which is called Nataka Deepa Prakaranam, where the author, Swami Vidyaranya, gives a very beautiful imagery of a theatre. Light, lamp in the theatre. So imagine a theatre with a stage, with the audience. And now, first the accompaniments come. First the sponsor comes. The audience comes, sponsor comes, accompaniments come, dancer comes. Then the dance takes place. So this is the imagery given to explain our mind and our, life. The dancer is in the place of this buddhi. So we have the intellect. We have these sense organs. They are in the place of those accompaniments. And there is audience, there is a sponsor who has sponsored the whole program. And there is a powerful lamp in the ceiling which illumines everything. So now the dancer comes to the stage and dances. And the lamp, the light of the lamp, illumines the dancer, all her movements, all the gestures, all the expressions on her face, all the moods, all of these are illumined by the lamp. The dance continues for a period of time, is over, dancer retreats, goes behind the curtain, the accompaniments leave, the sponsor leaves, the audience leaves, the whole theatre is empty. So now it was in light of the lamp that we could see the dance and the audience and everything. When everybody leaves, when the audience is empty, how do you know the audience is empty? How do you know that the audience is empty? In the same light. So light which illumines the presence of the movement of the dancer and the audience and the accompaniments is the same light by which you also know the absence of all of this. So dancing of the dancer and the accompaniment and the audience and the sponsor, all of these represent the waking state. In waking state you have mind which constantly changes its mood according to the input given by the sense organs. Something conducive, then the mind is happy. Something non-conducive, mind is unhappy. And so they say that the mind is in the place of the dancer. The sense organs are in the place of the accompaniment, because dancer dances according to the accompaniment, as the drums, etc., the rhythm. So similarly, mind dances according to the sense organs, the data that they bring. And all this world of sense objects is in place of the audience. The ego is in place of the sponsor. This is the kind of play, drama that is going on in the waking state. In the dream state. What is deep sleep state? Slowly the audience goes away because we withdraw. First from the gross body. So we withdraw from the gross world of the audience and the gross body. Then we withdraw from the sense organs. The accompaniment goes. Then we withdraw from the mind. Dancer goes. Withdraw from the ego, ahankara. Sponsor goes. The whole theatre is empty. This is a state of deep sleep. So how do you know the absence of all of these in the theatre? Also by the same light. The same light that illumines the presence of everything as well as the absence of everything. What is that light? Light of consciousness. So whereas that light illumines all the movements of the dancer, itself is motionless. That light which illumines all the bhava of the mood of the dancer, itself is changeless. So how the motionless illumines all the motions, how the changeless illumines all the changes, how one illumines many, and while illuminating remains totally unconnected and unaffected, it is uninvolved illuminator. The important thing is that the illuminator, meaning the lamp, is in no way affected by what is illumined. So the consciousness is in no way affected by what the moods of the mind are, what the sense organs are doing, what the sense objects are doing. All this play is illumined, whereas just as a lamp in the theatre remains changeless, kutastha is called. Kutastha means changeless. So also is consciousness changeless and illumining everything. And in deep sleep state, when everything withdraws, it illumines the absence of everything. That's why we say in the morning, that looks like there is no consciousness in deep sleep state, but there is. There is no consciousness of something. Because what is required for being conscious of something, namely the sense organs and the mind, they are not there. So you're conscious of the objects normally when you have the sense organs and the mind. All that infrastructure is there in the waking and the dream states. But when the mind is not there, sense organs are not there, there is no awareness of any, no particular awareness. No, awareness has two states. One is what we call the samanya awareness, other is a particular awareness. So, in the waking state and dream states, we have the Vishesha Jnanam, meaning specific knowledge of different objects. Now, when the objects are not there, the Jnanam is there, Nirvishesha Jnanam. In deep sleep state, you have unqualified knowledge, or unqualified consciousness, which itself becomes qualified in the waking in the dream states. So Jnanam or consciousness is there. Only thing is, in the waking and dream state, that consciousness, qualified consciousness, qualified with names and forms. So we have particular ghata, not cognition of part and cognition of cloth, etc. In deep sleep, there is cognition of no particular thing. Unqualified consciousness and qualified consciousness. Consciousness doesn't get qualified, but the consciousness when illumines the object looks like you have qualified consciousness, like ghatakar vritti, patakar vritti, the cognition of a part, the cognition of a cloth, etc. But that because which you are cognizing, that consciousness is ever unchanging, uninvolved, unconnected. So this would illustrate this changeless consciousness. In the midst of all the changes is the example of this lamp in the theatre, in the text called Panchadashi. Does that answer your question? Okay.
This is regarding meditation section. Generally, one feels extremely calmed and comfortable and with yourself in a meditative class, meditation class, and you want to get out of it. So it looks like we get into it and get out of it. So on one instance, when we were attending Puja Swami's camp, one of the participants asked Swamiji, she went and told him, Swami, today's meditation was very good. And it was such a wonderful experience. And so, but what do you have to say? I mean, she was trying to ask him, does he get into meditation and get out of meditation? This is what was the question. And Puja Swami said, I'm always meditating. I never get out of it.
I'm always in meditation, not meditating.
I never get out of it. So, now this is something we don't understand.
Well, meditation means self-consciousness. So what we have to do is to make our mind free from other consciousness, to focus it on the self-consciousness. Self-consciousness is always there. What happens is when we get too preoccupied with names and forms, other things, that even though self-consciousness is there, we are not aware of it. You don't take note of that. Just as when you see the pot, you see the clay also, but we don't take note of that. But if you practice long enough, such that the awareness of clay doesn't go away regardless of changes in pots and pans. Similarly also, names and forms of which are conscious keep on changing. But unqualified consciousness that illumines all of them is your own self. If you become aware of that and retain, then that is self-evident. Meaning that is always conscious of the self, which is consciousness. The objects of consciousness change. The theatre lamp is ever there. What it illumines keeps on changing. But that is always the same. So if one is aware of the self, the illuminating consciousness, then it's always there. You don't need to make a special effort. You are conscious of yourself even when you are conscious of other things, because you don't lose that, because that's always there. Here, when we go conscious of other things, we as though lose consciousness of ourselves. So then you have to come back. So coming and going is when we become unconscious of ourselves while being conscious of other things. In fact, consciousness of the self is there, but because of preoccupation of objects, it gets lost as though. Doesn't get lost, you don't need to make an effort. That's what Swamiji meant, that I'm always, in meditation, I'm always conscious of myself, which is the purpose of meditation. Was there somebody else? No. Okay. No, here.
Swamiji, you mentioned couple of
Just speak out in the mic. Yeah.
You mentioned a couple of times that the waking state and the dream state are tiring, and the deep sleep is relaxing. And yet there was a note that we look forward to a new day. So why would we then look forward to a waking day? And as a social observer, is there an element of escapism and evasiveness from the waking state and the dream state, from the the cringing influence of the systems and structures that have trapped us into this tiring waking and dream state? So is there a causality loop that we can address, and can Vedanta help us address that?
It is not these structures that are tiring us. It is our ego that is tiring us. What is ego? Which feels inadequate and is struggling to be adequate. So the struggle of the ego to become adequate is a never-ending struggle, because it is like the 10th man searching for the 10th man. So this is how we live our life. It is not that the waking state has to be tiring. It is the ignorant person who is tired. Ignorant as well as non-discriminating person. Even if you are ignorant, be aware of the fact that you don't have to search for anything. What you are seeking is to be found with yourself. Then also you will not get tired. In as much as most people have this misconception that what they want is out there, they keep on struggling for that and being disappointed. And that's how you get exhausted. So looking forward to a new day is hoping to be better than today, which is fine. It's a good attitude. But unless you have this knowledge or understanding, you will be tired regardless whether new day or old day. You follow? So it's not some structure that is making you do that. It's our ignorance and aviveka, non-discrimination. That's what is the reason. Meaning that if you are a wise person, even though structures remain what they are, you're still always relaxed. Alright, so a question.
Swami, just for an information, when you are ending the satsanga, the lights are all switched off when you are singing the bhajan. Is there any significance for that, or what does it mean?
Significance is that lights are distracting. When lights are on, there is a distraction. Lights are off, there is no distraction. In the bhajan, your mind can get absorbed. So to get an absorbing experience is the purpose of that. Yeah. Now today is Saturday, so our Swami is going to sing Hanuman Chalisa to conclude.